Welcome to the NBA Pub Hub, Pub Sports Radio, Wednesday, February 16th. It is Ian Cameron, Dutch Boy Fresh, and Trot Wham with you, ready to break down the Wednesday NBA card. Looking forward to it. Just 2 days left of games before the All-Star break. We've got a huge card tonight. We've got 11 games on tap in the association. So lots to break down. Let's start with Atlanta taking on Orlando to get it going. Atlanta, 5.5 point road favorites, 226 and a half the total in this game. We've seen a lot of these teams, again, with these final games before the break. You want to make sure that some of these players, they're not mentally checked out, thinking of the break already. For Atlanta, they're off a 124-116 win last night against the Cleveland Cavaliers, an over best bet for me on the show yesterday. So we got right back on track now, 12-1 with the best bets now. Trying to keep it going here with that. Atlanta with the big win, 124-116 last night. They'll see if they can keep it going on the back-to-back. Orlando just continuing to struggle to win games, but they were at least hanging around Denver for a little bit, but lost 121-111 against the Nuggets in their last game. Atlanta's kind of one of those teams right now. It's hard to bet them under. They're scoring so well. Their defense is still so shaky. But the thing with Orlando is sometimes teams really can get after them defensively, and they can struggle to score. Boston, Utah held them down. But this is a bit of a lesser team. Maybe they can get enough points to go over the total. I'd lean over, but it's just a light opinion for me on this game overall. Skee, welcome in. We'll start with you. What do you think here, Atlanta, Orlando?
For this game, you're being nice, Ian.
Right.
Orlando offense just stink. You say teams get after them defensively. They're the worst offensive rated team in the last 5 games. But like you mentioned, the Hawks defense hasn't really been that great. That's the one thing Orlando's been doing better than them. So today is a weird day with All-Star break coming up. Some teams might not care as much. Some players. I would just say the more rested team in Orlando, you got Atlanta on the back-to-back, and you're getting points with the team who's playing better defense. That's where I lean, but I won't put my money on it. So
No.
That's all I got.
Yeah, it's kind of the same way I feel about the over. It's a lean, but I don't feel as strongly about this. And on a day like we're talking the second last day before the All-Star break, it's one of those days I'm not peppering the board quite as much. We're trying to be a little bit more selective, tighten the belt. Dutch, what do you think here, Atlanta, Orlando?
Yeah, man. Real quick, salute to the ladies, gents, and D-gents for tuning in. You already know it's all love. Be sure to hit that motherfucking like button like I'm hitting this plane of ice cream cake and put you right where you need to be. Yeah, man. Be sure to share the video as well. Big shout out to Tasha. I see you, my girl. Polly Walnut. Salute, my dude. Everybody in this motherfucking chat right now, hit the motherfucking like button and share the video. It's muchly appreciated. And you already know what we're doing with this. Well, it's the big show. Yeah, man. Back with this motherfucker.
The big show. It's a big backwood tonight. That's what it is here for first game of the board. Backwood for Dutch with the Hawks and the
right.
Magic. That view is phenomenal, by the way. And that's real water. It's a real beach. It's really Hawaii. For those of you that keep on asking, it's not a picture.
Those are real whales.
It's not a photograph.
Real bitches in the sand too. Don't get it twisted.
Real bitches in the sand.
Actually, a real place he's in right now. It's not nothing photoshopped. Yeah, it's not a Def Leppard. All I got is a photograph. It's not that. No. Wham, what do you think here? Atlanta, Orlando.
Yeah, man, it's only right this be a backwood, bro. 3-7 ATS off of back-to-back with no rest for Hawks. And the Magic are, like you said, dead last offensive rating. I do agree with the over, though. At least the pace has been there for Orlando. They're top 5, I believe top 6, if I'm not mistaken, in pace. Oh, top 5 in pace. They're number 5 in that regard over the last 5 games. So I agree with the over there, but that's the only way I would lean here. I don't want to touch none of these guys.
All right, Brooklyn, New York. We've got the Knicks, 4.5-point home favorites, 215.5 the total in this game. The Brooklyn Nets, they celebrated like they won something after beating Sacramento. I don't know if it's worth it to get that excited beating the Sacramento Kings, but I guess when you've been as bad and losing as much as the Brooklyn Nets have been lately, any win is a good one for you. But give them credit. They found a way finally. They're not going to have Kevin Durant once again tonight. Kyrie Irving, of course, out because they're playing in New York State, so you automatically know he's not going to play with the vaccine policy in place there. So it'll be Patty Mills, Seth Curry, Bruce Brown in this one on the starting five, along with Kessler Edwards and Andre Drummond as well. That's what we're looking at for Brooklyn. I still like Brooklyn because I like this. I like them getting that win and getting a little confidence. And Bruce Brown says we all love each other now. It's basically a shot at James Harden, essentially, going out the door saying we all like each other now on this team. We're playing for one another. So very good quote there. That's bet on type of stuff here for the Nets, in my opinion. I don't trust the Knicks. Knicks are just, I'm not laying points with them. They found a way to lose the other night against the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're just not good. Right now, the Knicks. There's no way I'm laying points with them. And RJ Barrett's going to be out again. So you're going to have to look at Quentin Grimes being asked a lot of him. You're putting a lot on the shoulders of Randall. He's trying to do what he can. And oftentimes it's not enough here in this one. This was a close game to me at worst case scenario. It wouldn't shock me even if Brooklyn pulls it out. I mean, the Knicks just cannot win games. They're deep. And stop talking to me about Thibodeau and the defense. Defense sucks right now for the Knicks. It's a terrible defensive team. And I'm perplexed that the total is going down the way it is in this game. I like the over. It's been nothing but overs with Brooklyn versus New York as well, head to head. So I like the over and I like Brooklyn plus the points here. Wham, what do you think? Brooklyn, New York.
Yeah, man, I got two plays on this game, and they're both player props. It's going to be the Mitchell Robinson double-double. Had a double-double last game. It's at plus 115, I believe. Right now, Bovada plus 135 on FanDuel. That's the way I went with that one. As far as the Mitchell Robinson, I just believe that they're going to be able to score down low. This team is allowing opponents points in the paint, ranked 22nd in the last 5 games. Obviously, having Drummond back should help them with the rebounding, but I don't think their rebounding is going to be that much different. So I expect the rebounding props for Mitchell Robinson and Randall over 10.5 to cash today for both of those guys. And just talking about Randall, we talked about it, man. Since he had the little spat with the little reporter about trade news and everything, he's been cooking over the last 6 straight games, over 24.5 points. So I'm going over the 24.5 points that's available right now. Bovada 23.5 at FanDuel. Shop around if you can. I think that Julius Randle continues to go over the points, man. Like you mentioned, RJ Barrett's not involved. We've been talking about this for about a week now. So you guys already know I'm on Julius Randle over 23.5 points, whichever you could get and find out there. I think he gets to the 30 piece tonight. So if you want to ladder it up, do what you please. But in my opinion, I still don't trust the Knicks. Like me and Ian said, it's been wasted. His production has been wasted. He's been hooping. He's been one of the guys out there. Evan Fournier, he continues to shoot threes. He's actually been a little bit more consistent. And they still been able to just fucking shit off games against bad teams and against a good team. So I expect them to play well today. I think it is going to be a good matchup for them, especially without Kyrie, without KD. They should be able to win this game and cover the spread. But do I trust that to happen? I just can't do it. So I just like the props here for the Mitchell Robinson double-double and Julius Randle. Those are the way I'm going.
I can't trust the Knicks. No way. That was Oklahoma City going in there, hanging. Even though the Knicks, that's Oklahoma City 127, giving up to a Thunder team that didn't have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or Lou Dort on the floor in that game the other night, and gave up 48 of 96, 50% shooting to the Thunder at home in a game they were supposed to want badly because they were slumping going into that game and off a loss to Portland. No, there's just no way there's a case for me for New York. None, zero. What do you think here, Dutch? Nets and Knicks?
Yeah, man. Shout out to our guy Spencer. Tiffany liking the Grimes over 3 props. Sneaky, I see you, girl. Yeah, man. But Zachary already know. Back with this motherfucker.
It's all right.
Backwood time times 2 to start the card for Dutch. Skee, Nets, and Knicks.
Yeah, no way in hell I'm laying with the Knicks. They've been looking terrible. Not that Brooklyn's looked great, but like you said, Ian, at least they feel good now after the trade with James Harden. Like you said, everybody wants to play for each other, and I think Brooklyn's going to start to trend upwards. New York, not so much. So Brooklyn plus, only way to look for me.
All right, Brooklyn for Skee. Next up, Washington, Indiana. We got to keep a brisk pace, 11 games. We got Indiana, pick 'em -1. Home favorites, 226 the total. I like this game over the total. Indiana's they've just given up playing any defense, the Indiana Pacers. Given up. And look, they haven't played great defense all year either, but Especially now, it's just been dreadful. Look at these point totals: 128, 129, 120, 133. That's just in the last 4 games. They've gone 8-1 to the over in their last 9 games. The Washington Wizards, on the other hand, 3 of their last 4 games have gone over the total. 6 straight in the head-to-head series have gone over with the Pacers and the Wizards. Earlier this year, it was 116, 110 over the total. We had 135, 134, 142, 115. I mean, we have had some huge numbers, huge, since the beginning of 2021, posted with these two teams head to head. So rather than trust either of these sides, these are two ghastly teams. You can't trust either one. Washington's been pretty bad for 2 months. Indiana's been bad all year, and they're awful right now. They're on a 7-game losing streak, and they've covered just once in those games as well. I guess I'd lean to Washington, believe it or not, but I just rather focus on the total, and two defenses that I don't like at the moment. They're not stopping anybody, and a series history that's been one over and one high-scoring affair after another. So Wizards Pacers over 226 was pretty easy decision for me to bet that here. Dutch, what do you think? Washington, Indiana.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Don Mac. Bang, bang. Hey, I feel like Zachary's in my motherfucking rotation with me. Because, yeah, this is backwood number 3. Yeah, man.
All right, Skee, Washington, Indiana.
I'm not mad at you, Ian. Pacers play absolutely no defense, so whenever they're out there, I want to bet an over. But I just didn't get there today with the Wizards. Their offense hasn't really been that great, and they're playing slow. So I would play Halliburton. I played him yesterday, 0.3 rounds assists. I mean, I just think he's going to continue to get the usage and have success. So
Surprise.
keep riding Hallie.
I expect Washington to play faster, though.
Hollywood.
Yeah, Halliburton is definitely something to definitely keep an eye on for sure with the Pacers. And you look at what he's done here with Indiana. 16 assists, by the way, in the game against Minnesota a few games ago, which was pretty impressive, that number of assists. But he's had 23, 22, and 17 points. And, he shot the ball okay. 9 of 15, 7 of 14, 6 of 12. What's this not? Didn't someone say you can't shoot? Or or Ty Halliburton's not a great shooter or scorer? He can score. He can shoot the ball.
Cutting up.
Yeah, I mean it's happening right now for
Hey, you
Tyrese
do that when he's not
Halliburton.
here to defend himself. You cold, about it. You cold.
Bow, bow.
Someone did. I know that. Someone not so long ago
Someone
said
said that shit
can't
up.
score or shoot. Ty Halliburton. Well, I'm seeing a
Come on,
50%
man.
shooter in 3 straight games. That's not bad. Those percentages, pretty impressive if you ask me. But and he should score in bunches here tonight against this Washington team. But Skee said their offense hasn't been great and their pace has been slow. I think the pace quickens tonight. Gafford's out and Hachimura's out, so I think it's going to be a small lineup tonight for Washington, and I think that'll quicken things a little bit as well. So another reason for the over, in my opinion. I think there'll be a small lineup, maybe a more pace, more possession game from a Washington standpoint. What do you think here, Wham? Wizards Pacers.
Yeah, man. The pace for the Washington Wizards, 29th, second to last in that pace over the last 5 games, 27th in offensive rating as well. It's kind of tough to back them here. Again, I think that even though the pace has been bad recently, like you mentioned, Babano, maybe an increase here because the Pacers, since they got Tyrese Halliburton and Buddy Hield out there, they're just trying to shoot threes, trying to get shots open, trying to get guys moving the ball really well. I do love the Tyrese Halliburton here. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that how the Bucks kind of fucked us over with the 8.5 assists last night. Took the assist away from us there, and he ended at 8. That was some bullshit there. Neither here nor there here because I think the points will still be there for him. So if you're looking at the 17.5 points for Tyrese Halliburton, I'm right there with you, man. I'm rocking with that over on that spot. That's the only bet that I did make here. I think it will be points here as far as offense for the Washington Wizards. I'm kind of hoping that they figure it out today in this game. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here. I think it is a fast-paced type of game here. Indiana seems like they're going to play. And then O'Shea Brissett, he bullshit us, but I think it was more so the bench really got involved. Dwayne Washington, all those other guys that's involved there. I think they kind of really got involved in the game, so it kind of just let him, not flourish more. So O'Shea Brissett, I did take a back stab at that 12.5 points. I did have it yesterday. I did go back to the well with it again today. So I think he does get back to the well there. But Tyrese Halliburton is my favorite play in this game. I think he goes over the 17.5 points.
All right, liking the points with Halliburton, and he's been got that shooting stroke going at the moment for the Pacers. And by the way, Pacers still no Brogdon, Duarte, T.J. McConnell, Miles Turner, same guys that have been out for the last few games, missing once again tonight for the Pacers. All right, Detroit and Boston. We've got the Celtics 12-point home favorites here, 213 the total in this game. Boston, the only question of is motivation, right? Because you got this team that just crushed and they clobbered Philadelphia last night. That game was over early. They took apart the 76ers 135 to 87. Pretty damn impressive when you can beat Sixers by 48 points. And that's an absolute destruction. And look, Boston's got it going right now. There's no doubt. 9 straight wins, 6-3 against the spread during that time. A lot of these wins have been double-digit victories as well. In fact, 4 of the last 5 have been by double figures. The only one was Denver, where they won by a single-digit margin. I definitely don't want any part of Detroit. I mean, the Pistons here, 0-8 straight up in their last 8 games. They've covered just one time during that span, which coincidentally enough was against Boston when they lost by 9 as 11-point dogs. But other than that, the Pistons have been dreadful. Really, it's been both ends of the floor. There's been games where their offense hasn't done much. I don't know how they only scored 94 against Washington in their last game. Washington's a horrible defensive team. They didn't score more than that. That's disappointing. They gave up a ton. They've given up big points recently in games. The only question for Detroit is, do they score enough here? The bet that I'm going to make here, because I considered Boston laying the points, I considered the full game over because I know Detroit can't stop anybody. They're 27th or worse in 2-point defense, 3-point defense, points per game. All those numbers, they're 27th or worse, Detroit. So you'd expect the Pistons, the Celtics to score theirs. This might be a safer bet toward the team total for Boston. Maybe looking at over 112.5 in this game. That way I don't have to worry about what Detroit does or doesn't do offensively against Boston. Boston's playing some serious defense right now. So I think I'd gravitate toward the Celtic team total instead of the full game total in this game. Dutch, what about this one for you? Is this another backwood for you, Pistons and Celtics?
Man, it's a motherfucker. But yeah, man, it really is. Shout out to our guy Kyle MD20 for THC RZA. But yeah, four motherfucking backwoods in motherfucking row. I think I got a play on this next one though. I got some shit though. I got some shit, man. Look, I even got paper
it's
for
a big
that
card.
ass. I ain't got it written on a napkin no more. I had a napkin for the last 2 days. This is a paper, something serious business. But it's
right.
He's got his work. He's got his hard hat on and his work boots on, Dutch, when he's writing things on pen and paper. Exactly. He's ready to go. Yeah, later on he'll get to his looks later on in the card. It's a tricky card. You got to pick your spots. It is a couple days before the All-Star break. So for me, it would be Celtics team total over. Having said that, they just beat down and destroyed Philadelphia, a team they're competing with in the Eastern Conference and might see in the playoffs. They're playing lowly Detroit. This is also a game where crazy shit happens before the break. If Pistons win, is it a total shock? No, because teams turn their brains off the game before the break. But I don't see enough in Detroit to trust them to actually take advantage of it. They've been that bad, the Pistons here these last 8 games. Skee, what do you think
surprised
here?
if somebody sits for the Celtics too. I wouldn't be surprised.
That too. Right now, we just have Marcus Smart as a game time decision and Robert Williams tonight. But we'll keep an eye out. Do we see Derek White? Do we see Jaylen Brown? Do we see Jason Tatum? Or did one of those guys get rested tonight? We'll have to see. There's always that concern, Dutch. You're right, in the back of your mind that maybe one of these guys gets rested right before the break. Skee, what do you think here? Detroit, Boston.
Yeah, Boston on a back-to-back laying, this many points. I can't do it with a team on a back-to-back, especially like you guys said with the All-Star break coming up. So I am expecting probably some rest, but I'm not going to be back in Detroit here. Detroit's role has been at home as a big dog, not necessarily on the road. And Celtics playing the best basketball in the NBA the last couple or a few weeks, and I don't want to step in front of it. So I was thinking, if we get Marcus Smart and Williams in, which I'm not sure that we will, Celtics defense has been incredible. They're holding teams over the last 2 weeks to 94 points per game, and Detroit's team total is sitting here at 100. Boston has held 11 of their last 14 opponents under 100 points. That's what I was thinking. But I really want those guys in the lineup because they'll help defensively.
All right, there we go. So maybe under a look here potentially if we get Smart and Williams on the floor for Boston. They are playing some terrific defense right now, like holding teams regularly below 100. That's not easy to do in modern NBA. We got our guy Kyle Hamburg in the chat. Welcome in, my friend. Yeah, Nets, Nets, Nets. I'm right there with you on that. I said it a few minutes ago. Brooklyn plus the points for me in that. How can you lay it with the Knicks? Very difficult right now. Wham, what do you think here in this one?
Yeah,
Detroit,
shout out,
Boston.
shout out to my fellow SBR poker winner, Kyle Hamburg. I appreciate you, my
Yep.
man, for being here. Only me and you, the only ones that hold that title. I appreciate you, bro. Yeah, man, I'm right there with you guys. It's hard to think any other way, but maybe over here because you know you're going to get bad defense from Detroit. Detroit's going to play bad defense. They're ranked 28th in defensive rating over the last 5 games. Also, their offense though has been bad as hell as well. Like it's not that good either. 28th in that regard. 29th in a net rating over that span. I just believe that it will be it could be a faster pace game. It does seem like Boston does tend towards the over on the second half back to back. They're 7-3 to the over in the second half of back to back here. So I kind of would agree. I kind of would disagree with what Skee said, but at the same time, I would agree. I don't think that the offense is going to be there with Detroit. So it's kind of one of those tough games here. And once they start getting too tough with the Detroit Pistons, I'm like, look, let me back what the fuck out this game. I don't want nothing to do with this damn game. But I will say, if Mitchell Robinson is in the game, I'm looking towards his double-double. It's 4 of his 5 games. He's hit the double-double. So I would expect him to do that, especially against a team that's allowing opponents about the second to worst defensive rebounds, 50 rebounds that they're allowing opponents. So I would expect Detroit to give up the rebounds tonight. So rebound props for Boston is where I'm thinking. And I'm sorry, I did bet this game. I did take Grant Williams over 1.5 threes. It's at -115, so I did take that. Grant Williams, I think if Robert Williams is out, or even if he isn't out, I think he gets the looks here on the 3. So he hit the 1.5 3-point makes for Grant Williams.
All right, good stuff. Next, Sacramento and Chicago. This is Chicago 6-point home favorites, 232.5 the total in this game. You look at this Sacramento Kings team. How do you trust this team right now to score or stop anybody? I should say they got crushed by Brooklyn in their last game. They did beat Washington, but again, Washington kind of slumping at the same time. But just defensively, it's been a hit or miss for the Sacramento Kings. They have won a few games, give them some credit for that. The win against Minnesota was a little bit impressive, but still not a team you necessarily trust. Them can look good for a couple games, then that loss to Brooklyn was just absolutely dreadful. Chicago, give them credit because they were facing a Spurs team that's on this rodeo road trip. Usually it's a good sign for San Antonio. It's usually a road trip they do well on, but the Bulls found a way to make some stops at the end and get past San Antonio 120-109. We got to give the Bulls some credit the last couple games. They have been better at the defensive end. We know they've had some issues there without Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso, and some of their better defenders have been out. But they've definitely been a little bit better defensively, especially closing out games. Their fourth quarter defense the last couple games has been pretty good against the Spurs and the Thunder. This is kind of like Detroit-Boston. I can't really make a case to bet a Sacramento under or a Chicago under, but I feel the Bulls might do more of the scoring, and I don't know if Sacramento is going to necessarily do enough here against a Bulls defense that's improved the last couple games. So this could be another team total potential for me with Chicago here, 118.5, looking at over there in that game. And DeMar DeRozan is the hottest thing since sliced bread right now for the Chicago Bulls. This is incredible what the man is doing. And you'd think now maybe the last game before the break, maybe he's going to, conk out here a little bit. Maybe this is the night where he, runs out of steam or falls apart and maybe has a bad night. But if you've been predicting bad shooting nights for DeMar DeRozan for a while now, you've been shit out of luck. Because look at these last 7 games for DeMar. 31, 45, 38, 36, 35, 38, a 40 spot against San Antonio. I mean, it's very difficult to go under his points right now with what he is doing for the Chicago Bulls. Dutch, we'll start with you here. Sacramento, Chicago.
Yeah, man. Big shout out to our guy Razor Sharp Fix. I see him, my dude. Elliot V. Salute, bro. Lucky Power, my guy. I see you. Yeah, man. I stepped in front of the Rose and I gave the motherfucker props too before I bet against his ass, and he still shitted on me. The other night, and I'm not gonna do it again. I mean, you touched on it, Ian, and I just think Chicago is playing good ball right now. To be honest with you, I think DeRozan won't. It ain't gonna end tonight. He probably the last motherfucker that wants the All Star break to come. I'll tell you that though. So he might come back a little struggling because let's say he really gonna enjoy himself in this little break this last week to 2 weeks, really the whole motherfucking season. I mean, he is the cat that had the only two back-to-back game winners too, and fucking miracle bombs too. So this has just been a crazy first half for DeRozan, and I look for him to have his way tonight. We're really looking here at fading the Sacramento Kings and the Chicago Bulls team that I believe obviously is a better team, better coach team, has the two best players on the court, and also plays really well at home. Handles business at the house. They're 5-2 ATS last 7 at the house, 20-10 on the season overall at the house against the number, 5-2 against the number last 7 overall, and they're 4-1 ATS last 5 versus the Western Conference. So we got a team here in the Bulls that I believe are better. Obviously, we'd like Levine out there. I believe Kobe White has kind of filled in pretty nicely for Lonzo. They do miss him obviously on the defensive end even more. But I do think with Javonte Green being back, AO out there, and Big Vooch and DeRozan, it'll be enough to handle business. And like I mentioned, this is the fate of the Sacramento Kings. They're not good anywhere, but especially on the fucking road. 1-4 straight up 1-14 straight up last 15 on the road. 2-9 straight up last 9 versus the West. Against the Eastern Conference. So I look Chicago Bulls spot here. I'm going to stay away from first quarter, first half, and just load up on that full game -5.5. I really like this look. Shout out to our guy Jay Money. Hopefully that voice is getting back, my dude.
There you go. Yeah, liking Chicago here minus. Was 5.5, now 6 here with the Bulls in this one. Liking laying the points here, Dutch, with the Bulls in this one. There's something I'm interested in from a prop standpoint is some bonus for Sacramento. 11.5 rebounds. I think he might get over that. You look at Chicago. He was with Indiana, of course, back then, but 2 games against Chicago back in December 26th, December 31st. 16 rebounds and 14 rebounds in those 2 games. So both of those games more than the 11.5 here. So he's rebounded well against Chicago when he was with Indiana. He's with Sacramento now, but still the same opponent. So that stuck out to me that 11.5 rebounds over with Sabonis might be a good prop here in this game. All right, Skee, what do you think here? Sacramento, Chicago.
My bad. My bad. It keeps muting.
There you
hear
go.
me now?
We hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, I like Harrison Barnes over 15.5 points. Just hit, I think, 6 of the last 7 games. And the Bulls been struggling against small forwards. Just looking in general, their defense hasn't been good. I know Ian said they improved a little bit lately, but until they get some guys back in the lineup, I think their defense is going to continue to be shitty. So I like Harrison Barnes to keep it going over 15.5 points.
All right, Harrison Barnes to keep it rolling offensively for Sacramento. Someone's got to help out De'Aaron Fox on a regular basis. All right, Wham, what do you think here? Sacktown, Chicago.
Yeah, that's the only bet that I did add and throw into my parlay here was Harrison Barnes over 1.5 3-point makes. He hasn't been on the good side of that trend recently here, but I think it does open up for him today in this game. So I would agree with Skee on the Harrison Barnes prop. That's the way I did bet in this game. But again, it was a parlay. Not as confident in it, but I am thinking that's going to hit. So let's roll with it.
All right, San Antonio and Oklahoma City. San Antonio 8-point road favorites here, and 218.5 the total. The Oklahoma City Thunder upset win at New York against the Knicks, 127-123 in overtime on Monday night. 10-point dogs winning outright. The Thunder, give them credit. I don't know how they did it. Well, I know how they did it. New York sucks right now. That's how they did it. But the bottom line is how they did it without SGA and without Lou Dort. That's the thing that shocks me about how they were able to win that game. They won it because they had their offense. It was a great offensive game for the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's probably an indictment of the Knick defense, which hasn't been good. But Trey Mann went off for 30. Josh Giddey with 28. Giddey up right now for him. Josh Giddey and Darius Baisley 23 points as well in that win for Oklahoma City. Now, was that Oklahoma City offense or was that bad New York defense? It's the one thing you got to ask yourself. What I do know is the Thunder are a worse defensive team right now without Lou Dort. Lou Dort is one of their best defenders, especially along the perimeter. They miss him a lot. The Knicks were able to shoot a pretty good percentage the other night against the Thunder, score 123 in the first game without Dort. Lou Dort is out again tonight. You won't see him back for the Thunder until after the All-Star break. And, of course, same thing with SGA for the Oklahoma City Thunder. But their defense suffers without Lou Dort, in my opinion. As far as San Antonio goes, we know they are a team that plays pretty fast and doesn't play great defense. This is probably another overlook if I'm getting involved in this game with the 218.5, 218. I know the Thunder are not always a team you look over the total, but I think Skee kind of made the case for the Thunder and the Knicks over the total the other night, and that game ended up flying over the total. So, and no Lou Dort, like I said in that game. I think there is a real difference in that team's ability to play great defense without him. So the Thunder, it's not as good they are defensively when Dort's not in there. So this could be another game where you've got maybe some value on Thunder games over the total, at least for now until you get Lou Dort back. So I would maybe look over 218 with San Antonio and OKC. Wham, what do you think here, Spurs and Thunder?
Yeah, this is going to be a backwood for me. And it basically a lot of the stuff that you were saying here, just what these guys have been doing as far as San Antonio on the defensive side, kind of stayed me away from going with them. It's a big spread for them. I don't think they should be laying here. But I actually did bet the Keldon Johnson over 16.5 points. Again, just riding the trend. He did miss it last game. I believe it was a lot of that due with the rotation. He was out of the lineup in most of the fourth quarter, did fall himself in there towards the end, the last 2 minutes. But I think the fact that he was out of rotation, that's the reason why he didn't go over the 16.5 points last game. So I did take Keldon Johnson, but this is a backwood as far as any side total or anything.
All right, backwood for Wham in this one. All right, Dutch, what do you think here, Spurs Thunder?
Yeah, man. Big shout out to our guy, Turnsy. I believe Jacqueline said, tell your friends what? Tell your friends to subscribe to Pub Sports Radio and come watch the motherfucking NBA Pub Hub and anything else that they're interested in. That's what you tell your friends, young lady. And muchly appreciate as well. And as you do that, hit that motherfucking like button and share the video. Yeah, man. And back with this motherfucker. Hey, I don't even know what game it is. But someone in the chat said 6.5. Back with Dutch Boy got today is what's the over under? I'm gonna give you. We got 11 games on the card. We're gonna say 7.5, and I believe it's the Thunder. So you already know we back with that motherfucker. Like don't even really
There
look
it
at
is,
the bitch.
Thunder.
OKC
Yeah.
backwood. Auto.
Yeah, at this point, I think the last time Dutch talked about a Thunder game was the birth of Christ. And that was a long time ago. So it's been a while since we've heard him talking about the OKC Thunder. He's been staying away from them like the plague, staying away from the Oklahoma City Thunder. Skee, are you staying away from the Thunder tonight against the Spurs?
Hell yeah. Chat cashed at 4.5. For myself, I'm going to go Jakob Poeltl. Center's been killing OKC. I like his points, rebounds, assists. It's 25.5. I know 6 of the last 10 centers have gone over that number. I just look at the last 10 centers and power forwards versus OKC, big men in general. 18 points per game, 13 rebounds per game. I think he's going to have success tonight. And his last few games, he hasn't been that good, but he's been going up against Valanciunas, Capella, somebody else, one other better big man. Tonight, he gets Roby. So I like Poeltl to have success tonight, over 25.5 points, rebounds, assists.
All right, Jakob Poeltl, over points, rebounds, and assists for Skee. All right, Portland, Memphis. Memphis, 11.5 point home favorites, 229.5 the total in this one. We do have John Morant game time decision tonight for the Memphis Grizzlies. It's important to bear that out. We have seen him questionable now the last 2 games, and he didn't play on last night against the New Orleans Pelicans in that game, so worth noting that. We'll see if he's back on the floor tonight in this game for the Memphis Grizzlies as they take on the Portland Trailblazers. But they didn't need John Morant last night. They still got it done against New Orleans, 121-109, a 12-point win. And I like Memphis on the show yesterday. I said, I'm laying the points, Ja or not. I like the Grizzlies. It's a cheap number. They got it done. I'm not going against this team right now. Back-to-back concerns you. Maybe they've turned their switch off here with the final game before the break. But I do want to stress this. They have not shown any sign of turning the switch off. It's been pedal to the floor this whole time for Memphis during this streak. I mean, they've covered 6 straight, they've won 6 straight, they've won by margin in a lot of these games. So I don't want to bet a what if. I think if you're taking Portland, it's a what if Memphis is already on All-Star break mode. They haven't been on All-Star break mode though during this run. So and as far as the Blazers go, they actually did pull a shocking upset last game against Milwaukee, but Giannis didn't play. 122-107. They beat the Knicks and the Lakers. Both of those teams, though, kind of struggling. So they'll give Portland a little credit. They've played hard, actually, believe it or not, these last few games, even after trading away C.J. McCollum last week to the Pelicanos. But I'm not stepping in front of Memphis. Just right now with this streak and the focus that they are showing night in and night out to get it done. There's no way I'm going against the Memphis Grizzlies right now. Not sure I'm laying this many points, but Memphis or pass for me. Probably over or pass, too. Look at the Grizzlies. The offense can't be stopped. They've gone over the total in 7 straight games. Portland is not necessarily that kind of team that defensively we can count on night in and night out. So I would only look the favorite. I would only look the over here. Skee, what do you think, Portland and Memphis?
If you like Memphis, you should get in and get out. They've been good first quarter. They've been good first half. And they played yesterday. So who knows? And the break is coming up. Who knows, how much they're going to put for an entire 48 minutes. So I guess that's all I got for this game. Other than that, it's a backwood for me.
All right, so maybe a first quarter, first half, and there's no denying that whatsoever. The first quarter and the first half Grizzlies bets have been doing very well lately. Dutch, how about you here? Blazers, Grizzlies.
Yeah, man. Big shout out to our guy Mark Nick. I see you, my dude. Jackman, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for doing that. And I do got 3 very profitable plays today. But this ain't one of them, man. Back with this bitch.
That's a tease for later in the show. So make sure you stick around, watch till the end. Wham! How about you here?
I think you got some issues there, Ian.
Yeah, Wham! You're next. Can you hear me?
Is it me, yo?
We hear you.
Yeah, it's on you, Wham.
Yeah.
My fault, guys. My fault. My connection is a little bit messed up here. My apologies there.
Portland,
yeah, man, this is probably going to be. Yeah, this is going to be a backwood for me as well. But as far as I did bet this game, it's just not enough to make it official. I did take Anthony Simons over 4.5 3-point makes. He's hit this prop 4 out of the last 5 games. I expect it to go up. You know what I mean? And I agree with the over with Ian there, but mostly it's a backwood. The only thing I bet was Anthony Simons.
Toronto, Minnesota. You've got Toronto, 2-point road favorites, 227 the total in this one. A lot of Raptors money. Obviously, they got absolutely blown out by New Orleans, which is not something that's happened to the Raptors very often. They've obviously been terrific for the most part. But now they've lost 2 in a row. The Denver loss at home, the New Orleans blowout loss, and Fred VanVleet is probably not going to play tonight. He didn't participate in shoot-around. He had the knee injury that he suffered against the Pelicans. It's actually put his All-Star game participation in doubt a little bit. So he may not play tonight for the Raptors. Keep an eye on that. Anthony Edwards on the Minnesota side may not play. Ankle injury questionable. Minnesota on a back-to-back. Good call by Dutch yesterday. Hornets. They were buzzing against Minnesota. Charlotte getting it done with the outright win as underdogs, 126-120. Or actually, Minnesota won. No, Minnesota won. Yeah,
because I had the plus 225 and they pissed me off.
Yeah, they had it, but they covered the 6.5 though. They covered 6.5.
They did. They came back.
They did cover the 6.5, but they should have won the motherfucking game. I said,
hey,
to the window.
Hey.
That's shitty for you, my guy.
Yeah,
I seen that plus 225.
That's terrible.
We was on the same page though, man. We was the same motherfucking win.
They were up significant margin at one point, Charlotte. Yeah, you're right. Minnesota came back and won in overtime. But if you got Charlotte at plus 6.5, you got the money there with that. That's what bad teams do, though. They blow games, and Charlotte's a bad team right now.
Right.
Can't get out of their own way. Big comeback win for Minnesota. They exerted probably a lot of energy overtime. Certainly from a spot perspective, it lines up. The Raptors got embarrassed in their last game. You had 41 minutes from Karl Anthony Towns, 37 from D'Angelo, 37 from Vanderbilt. Anthony Edwards with just the 17 because of the injury issues that have left him questionable for tonight. Obviously, it's a Toronto spot. They're the rest advantage. They're off an embarrassing loss to New Orleans. But at the same time, they don't have Van Vliet tonight. And the Raptors kind of looked the other night like they're already on all-star mode. That's what it looked like to me against the Pelicans. So it's a backwood for me. I'm not going to get involved. It would be Toronto or pass, but I'm going to pass. Skee, what do you think here? Raptors, Wolves.
Yeah, I'm taking the Raptors in this game. I know I'm not expecting Van Fleet to play. Like you said, he's banged up with his knee injury. I'm not expecting Anthony Edwards to play either, though. He had a knee injury too. And why would you rush him back out there for this game today? So I'm expecting both of them to sit. But I just think the Raptors been playing better. I mean, both have been winning the same amount last 2 weeks, 5-2. But I know the Raptors are going to play better defense because the Wolves allow north of 120 points per game within that span. And the Raptors are going to rebound. So I trust that. And they didn't the Wolves played yesterday. The Raptors did not. I know how big I am on rest advantage. So I'll say at minus 120, I think it's a hell of a discount on the Toronto side. Favorites for more rest than their opponent win 71.5% of the time. At minus 120, they're telling you it's more like 56, something like that, 56% of the time, 56.5% of the time that they're expecting them to win. So I think there's an edge to be had. And when there's an edge, you bet it.
Yeah, Toronto, by the way, has won in Minnesota 3 straight times as well. So they played well here in Minnesota. It definitely is a Raptors spot. Raptors clearly situational spot edge for Toronto. There's no question. They're rested. They're off a bad loss. They got crushed by New Orleans. I just hope their brains are focused because they look like they're already in an all-star break mode the other night against New Orleans. Maybe Nick Nurse lights them up and says, hey, we still got one more game. Do you really want to piss away a great run and go into the break 3-game losing streak? No. So maybe we get that from the Raptors tonight, that focus. And Minnesota tired back-to-back after that overtime comeback. So definitely situationally, it does set up nicely for Toronto. We'll see if they can take advantage. Dutch, how about you? Raptors, Timberwolves.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm banking on as well. I agree pretty much with everything Skee said. Dennis, get money in the chat. I see him. I do. And he said trifecta spot there for the Raptors. I'm not mad at that, but I believe the big edge is actually the energy that they put out last night and they being the Wolves. So I think full game is where it's at, to be quite honest with you, because I think they exerted an awful lot of energy last night. That'll catch up more full game the first half or first quarter. But expect the Raptors to come out angry, and they should jump on these boys. But I definitely look more full game because they're the better team in my opinion. And, the Raptors, we're getting them in a good spot. Obviously, without Van Fleet, key guy, but I think they're still talented enough. And hopefully Edwards is out there, so kind of just exits it out. But even with Edwards in there, I believe through 48 minutes, they'll just be too tired, and I think that simply the Wolves or the Raptors are in a good spot here after the loss that we just had here, the embarrassing loss in New Orleans. Tough loss to Denver. A game they shouldn't have lost, and then fucking punk, like they got blown the fuck out in Pella. You look up, they're down by damn near 30, I believe, in New Orleans. That was just an ugly situation. So I think they'll bounce back. And the Wolves are 0-5 ATS last 5 as a dog. The Raptors are 4-1 ATS last 5 meetings versus these boys. You touched on it, Ian. They do play well in Minnesota as well, and they're 5-1 ATS last 6 on the road, 8-2 against the number last 10. We touched on it off a loss. They're a very good team. They're now 10-2 last 12 against the number off of after a loss. So they didn't bounce back against against the Pelicans. So I would look for them to do it tonight. And the only thing I think the only thing that stands in our way is Ian touched on it, is the All-Star break. Are they in that mode? They have looked at it the last 2 games. Let's hope Nick Nurse got these boys rallied up. He's a good coach. I'll bet on that. I believe there's extreme value, like my guy Skee said, on full game.
Because they are a competitive bunch, the Raptors, and so is their coach, Nick Nurse. So if there's one team that maybe snaps out of the funk after getting absolutely crushed by New Orleans for 1 game before the break, maybe they can get the troops rallied here tonight against Minnesota. What do you think, Wham?
Yeah, I mean, Pascal, he was on a hot streak. He fell off last game and didn't get called for the All-Star reserve there, so you may be a little bit bitter off of that. Now, I expect him to have some type of chip on his shoulder after having that terrible game the last game, and not as bad, but just not to the production that go over the 22 and a half points that I need for him to cash. So I'm a little bitter about that shit. I ain't gonna lie. But I agree with you guys. I think it is a Raptor spot here. Just think that Timberwolves, they rely on Edwards a lot. Him not being on the in the lineup, it's going to hurt them. Their defense is going to be bad regardless. 124 points, like my guy Skee said, over the last 5 games, which is terrible. The Raptors are on the same side of this. They're top 10 defense for the year, top 11 for the last 5 games. And then as far as points of what they're allowing, and top 5 offense is what they've been scoring. So I would expect the Toronto Raptors to hold it down. Official bet for me? No, I didn't make that official bet, but that's the way I'm leaning here. If I see Julius Randle in the halftime with 15 points, I probably will be dropping a little bit of money on the Raptors. That's the type of shit I'm on right now. So I would agree with my guys here. I think the Raptors do smash them up.
All right, we've got the Rockets and Suns. Phoenix, 16.5-point home favorites, 234. Lean Suns team total, lean over. Other than that, though, it's a backwood. I think the total's in a good spot, though, because you don't know what you're going to get from Houston offensively. Like, this could be 125, 105, for Phoenix, and the total falls short if that's the case. I mean, that's what it could be. You just don't trust Houston maybe to score, especially now with it looks like Christian Wood and Kevin Porter Jr. are both game time decisions tonight for the Rockets. So slight leans, but backwood otherwise for me. Wham, what do you think? Houston, Phoenix.
Yeah, man, I took the KPJ over 2.5 3-point makes. I was going to make that official. Then obviously the news came out, so he's off the board there. But that's the way I am. I did bet this game. So other than that, it is a backwood. I did have Phoenix last night. They should have won the game, covered the game. They just didn't give a fuck. It was All-Star game. It's All-Star break. So do I think they care about this game? No. I wouldn't be surprised if Houston even wins outright, especially if those guys are announced in the lineup. So I'm gonna stay away from this game, but I do like KPJ over 2.5 threes if he isn't available.
Yeah, that's the issue. Uncertainty with the final game for the Suns too before the break. How locked in are they? Skee, how about you? Houston, Phoenix.
Backwood. I say all the time. Y'all can have this game.
All right, Dutch.
Don't pass this bullshit to me, man. I don't want it. Yeah.
For real though.
All right, next up, we got Denver, Golden State. Golden State 5-point home favorites, 225.5 the total in this one. Again, for both of these teams, I believe it's the final game before the break. Yet none of them play tomorrow night. These two, we've got Golden State looking to bounce back from a loss at the Clippers. I think they will. I know Denver's won 2 in a row. They beat Toronto. They beat Orlando in the back from that 2-game road trip. I think this is a team that actually does want to, have a good final game before the break because they lost their last game. Golden State, Green out still, but Klay Thompson, Steph Curry are in for them. It looks like Monte Morris will play for the Nuggets in this game, which is good. So they'll have their starting point guard. I do think you get the Warriors showing up here after the loss to the Clippers. So I'm going to keep it simple and brief here with just 10 minutes left on the show. Golden State -5 for me. Going to lay it with the Warriors here. What do you think here, Skee, with Denver, Golden State?
I will say, if you must bet that last game, take Crowder rebounds 5.5. This game, for this game, it's not just one game, Ian. Golden State ain't been playing good for like a couple of weeks now. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they've covered in the past 2 weeks. And it's not even just on the road. Like they have been good at home. You can count on them at home all the time. But they've lost they failed to cover their last 3 home games. So I just look at, last 5 games, they're bottom 10 in all the categories I care about. That's not the same Warriors team that we've been seeing for majority of the season. And as far as the Nuggets, it's the opposite. They're top 10 in all the categories I care about over the last 5 games. They've covered 5 of their last 7. Jokic is a matchup problem for the Warriors. Give me the Nuggets plus 5.5.
All right, there we go. Head-to-head here, Skee and I, with this one. Denver +5. Denver beat Golden State in the new Oracle earlier this year, too. So I think Golden State has a chance maybe, or is going to want maybe a little payback. But you're right. They haven't played as good lately. I think tonight they do, though. Dutch, what do you think here? Nuggets, Warriors?
I'm going to let you two fight it out, bro. Back with this motherfucker.
Wham.
Yeah, I'm gonna let y'all two fight it out as well, but I kind of would agree with Skee here. I just think Golden State has been looking terrible. They let the Lakers look like they was about to beat them and shit, so it's just not looking good for them, in my opinion. I'm gonna say that the prop here for me is gonna be the guy that's been hitting the three, Aaron Gordon, over 1.5 3-point makes. You can find it at plus 130, plus 110, between that range there. He's hit this 5 of the last 7 games, so I expect him to continue to do that against this team. Aaron Gordon over 1.5 3-point makes. That's official bet for me in this game.
There we go. Thanks for the dono. We appreciate it very much from our guy Kyle. Thank you very much for the $10 dono. All right, final game. Jazz, Lakers. We've got Utah 4.5-point road favorites, 226. Okay, so the Jazz are what, 6-0 straight up, 5-1 against the spread. Their last 6. They played terrific ball going into the break. Final game before the break for them. We know what the Lakers are. Obviously, they've lost 3 in a row. They beat the Knicks in overtime. Big whoop. Doesn't do much for me. They lost 3 in a row after that. Are we kidding ourselves with this line? It's too short in my mind. Nothing more to say. Utah minus 4.5 for me. It's a very short line for the much better team. What do you think, Wham? Jazz, Lakers?
Yeah, man, I'm not fucking with the Lakers at all, but I do think that the Jazz is just as bad recently. They do have Rudy Gobert back. I am going to take advantage here. I did not bet this prop yet, but this is a bet that I'm most likely going to bet if everything works out early, obviously. Michael Conley over 12.5 points. This is a good spot here against the Lakers. You know, obviously they don't play any defense on the perimeter here. And as far as Mike Conley, he's been at the mercy here, sitting 71% over the last 7 games, 5 out of the last 2. Bad defense here from the Lakers. They expect him to be on the offensive tear here. So over 12.5 points, Mike Conley. Again, I haven't bet this play yet, but this is the way I'm eyeing in this game. I'm not touching the Lakers, man. We fucking suck ass, bro. We shouldn't even talked about this game. Y'all should already know what to do, bro.
Yeah, exactly. 336 live viewers. Let's hit the like button. Let's get that count up before the end of the show. Dutch, Utah, LA Lakers.
Yeah, man. I don't know how many motherfucking like buttons we have, but we need motherfucking more. And I know that. And real talk, hit the motherfucking like button like the Utah Jazz about to hit these motherfucking Lakers straight over the head. Come on, Ian said it, man. Ian said it. This is the line is what the fuck's going on? Is it because the Lakers beat them January 17th? You know, the Lakers won as a 5.5-point dog in LA.
Yeah, if anything, that'll fire up Utah tonight.
Exactly, that's what I'm trying to say. I think it's and it's a 5. It was kind of an ideal situation for the Lakers as well. It was a back-to-back for the Utah Jazz coming from Denver, one of the harder places to play. They shot 36% from the field, 26% from 3. You got the Utah Jazz team that's just been playing their best basketball now that they got their main horses back. 5-0 ATS last 5. They're actually playing some defense, what they ain't been doing without Gobert. They're allowing 98 points per game in that span. Average win, 21 points per game. Yeah, the Lakers might fuck around and have a good game for 2, maybe 2.5, 3 quarters. But by the end of this game, it'll be a blowout. Utah by 10 minimum.
All right, like in Utah as well. All right, Skee, Jazz and Lakers.
3 days rest compared to 1. But I think Wham said it best. His first 8 words, of his breakdown. I ain't fucking with the Lakers at all. So back with this motherfucker. I'm good.
There we go. See,
Dutch bro.
When it's broken Skee's spirit, the Lakers, it's bad. When it's broken his spirit, seeing what this team's done this year. Great stuff with Skee, with Dutch, and with Wham on a Wednesday. A huge NBA card. 344 live viewers. Hit the like button. We got best bets and Dutch's freshest look. It's all coming up. All right, Southtown 101. When you're in San Antonio, Texas, stop in. Great food, drinks, live music, DJs, karaoke, Manscaped, promo code PubSports, 20% off your purchase of any of the grooming products on the website. Get 20% off using promo code PubSports and mybookie.ag. Again, we've got NBA, college basketball, NHL, UFC, all ongoing right now. A great time still to sign up for an account. Bitcoin accepted currency for your deposit. Mybookie.ag, promo code PubSports, and the Pub Rub. There it is. Get it. $14.99 each, 2 for $25. Check it out on the website, pubsportsradio.com. All right, it is best bet and freshest look time to wrap up the show. Let's start with the island boy, island man. It is Dutch in Hawaii. Freshest look.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, freshest look. Yeah, man. We're going to La La Land. Hey, it's going to be a long motherfucking day. And it's going to be a good motherfucking day. And Utah, man, they probably going to pay for my fucking dinner because you know what we do. We auto-fade the motherfucking Lakers, and that's good money. Utah Jazz, -4.5. Yeah, man. Thank you, LA.
There you go. Utah Jazz, -4.5. We got the Jazz. We got the Jazz. Dutch has the Jazz tonight, -4.5 against the Lakers.
Yeah.
Freshest
We'll
look.
be bumping some
Wham.
Jazz later on.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's only right.
Wham
It's
Bam,
only right.
best bet.
Yeah, man. Best bet for me is going to be Julius Randle. Going to the Big Apple. We should get this points here. Julius Randle over 24.5 points. I think he gets to the 30 piece tonight. Let's go.
All right, Julius Randle for Wham with his best bet player prop. Skee, best bet.
Yeah, like I said, if there's an edge, you bet it. And I like the edge we got on the Raptors over the Wolves tonight. So Raptors, money line, best bet.
And I like what he's doing there. Don't screw around with the -2. I never do that. When it's a -2 or a -1.5 on a favorite, I just take the money line. Don't mess around. Just go for the money line. It's -130. It's still a good price. That's what I do with the short favorites. So Toronto -130, money line against Minnesota. Best bet for Skee. My best bet is going to be Washington, Indiana over the total, 226 in that game. I think it's high scoring. Pacers about as bad defensively as it gets, and yet we still have a fairly reasonable total to work with in that game. 12-1 best bet streak. Let's try to make it 13-1 tonight. Wizards and Pacers over 226 for my best bet for this Wednesday card. And that'll wrap up this edition of the NBA Pub Hub. Thanks to everyone for joining us. Yeah, Wham already said it. Randall.
Yeah, I got mine. I'm going Randall, bro. Randall.
Yep.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, Randall.
Oh, my fault. My fault.
No, it's all good.
Juice, the motherfucking juice. It's all the juice I've been on out here.
Exactly. Yeah. It's all that sunshine. It's making you hazy there a little bit. Yeah. Great stuff with Dutch, with Wham, and with Skee. This will be the last time we got Skee before the All-Star break, because tomorrow's show is going to be our final show before the break. On Thursday, we'll have Durrell joining Wham, Dutch, and myself for the final show before the All-Star break. And then we'll be back next Thursday following the All-Star break. But great stuff, Skee. Great first half of the season with you here on the NBA Pub Hub. We'll see you after the break. Thanks to everyone in the chat for joining us. We'll be back for our final show before the All-Star break tomorrow, Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, NBA Pub Hub, right here on Pub Sports Radio. For Dutch, for Skee, and for Wham, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Wednesday night. We'll see you again tomorrow on Thursday for our final show before the All-Star break. Tomorrow, Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, NBA Pub Hub, right here on Pub Sports Radio. Dutch, take us home from beautiful Hawaii.
Yeah, man. I was trying to get the motherfucking boat in, and I'm about to go on, but I'm not good with this shit. Hey, you know where it's at, Pub Sports Radio. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share the motherfucking video. Yo, salute to the real ones. Y'all stay fresh, stay blessed, but stay on these motherfucking bookies, right? Yeah, man.
We be pumping.